the Las Vegas Raiders could be facing a situation where they take on Tampa Bay without their entire starting offensive line. Trent Brown was placed on the COVID reserve list earlier this week. 4 of his offensive line teammates joined him on that list yesterday. Now, as I think most people are aware, as Dianna is back with me here, and I know you've been making phone calls all night last night and all morning here. As most people are aware, they flexed that game. They moved that game out of the primetime spot because there is some concern it may not be played. What is the very latest?
Yeah, so I checked in with sources with the league and with the Raiders. This game is scheduled to be played at 4:05 Eastern on Sunday. But the situation that they're dealing with right now is they have their entire starting offensive line quarantining at this point right now because Trent Brown, after being reviewed by the league, it was discovered that he wasn't wearing his tracing device, right? So they're able to monitor who he's been around, and that's really been helpful during the last few months as every team is dealing with these different COVID protocols. There were also other offensive linemen that weren't wearing their masks at all times. So this is why they're being very cautious here, making these guys quarantine. So now here's what happens. They're going to all be alone over the next few days. Sunday morning, they're going to take those POC tests. That's the rapid feedback COVID-19 tests. If they pass, if those come back negative, they'll be able to play. If they don't, what will happen is there's an advisory board that the league came up with. Their former NFL head coaches, players. There's about 7 or 8 of them on this board. And what they'll do is they'll have a conversation about what's next. What should they do? Should the Raiders be allowed to play? Should they move the game? And it will really come up to their decision. But I'm told as of now, the plan would be this game is on, even if those offensive linemen are not going to be able to go. So this is going to be a challenge for the Raiders. This
is one of the most interesting things that has happened, in my opinion, so far in this 2020 year that we're living with in football. Bart Scott, I'll just ask it to you directly. Yeah. I heard your voice when she said that. I heard you behind me sort of groan. Can a team play a game? Can they reasonably be expected to play a game without their entire starting offensive line?
Not at all. I mean, you only have so many swing guys that can play other positions. And you talk about what if somebody gets hurt. We've witnessed games where guys get injured in games, and we had tight ends playing left tackle. I think that'll be a disservice to a team that has aspirations, that just beat the Kansas City Chiefs last year, that beat the champs. I think they should move the game. That's why they decided to keep the season on schedule, so that when things like this pop up and they expected it, that they can continue to move them and reschedule at a later date.
One of the things that I'll point out again is that if it is found that they didn't follow the protocols well, in theory, you might say to yourself, well, then just make them forfeit. But that has all sorts of negative consequences, including for the team that they would be playing.
Yeah. Well, the league is going to want this game to be played, right? I think they've proved over the last few months that they're making this work, and it has worked. That's been the great thing about this is they've been able to shuffle this around. But really, it's going to come down to Sunday morning and those POC tests. And guys, we've seen the POC tests in the past not always be the most efficient either. So you have some concern here. If they do come back clean with these COVID tests, are they really clean? And that has to be concerning.
Ryan Clark, I'm just curious what thoughts are going through your mind here as one way or another, the decision will be made on this Sunday morning.
Well, I don't think it should be made Sunday morning. I think if it has to be made Sunday morning, then the game should be pushed back, as they've pushed back a few games already this season. Make them play on Tuesday, make them play on Wednesday. I don't really care. It seems that we are willing as an NFL to shuffle this thing around. I actually know someone that's on that committee, so it'll be interesting to see what decision they make if those tests come back clean on Sunday. And when we start talking about the offensive line, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are playing pretty much without many of their starters, other than Lane Johnson, who's in and out of the offensive lineup, and Jason Kelce, so are the Philadelphia Eagles. And so when you look at that from that standpoint, you think, okay, maybe we have to make him get through one game. My problem is more so with them trying to force a game on Sunday by doing things Sunday morning, by saying, you know what, the games are more important than making sure that these young men and these players are healthy. These players follow the protocol. That's a bad look to me for the NFL, no matter if Derek Carr is protected or not. People should be protected from COVID more so than they are from injury as the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's a really important story. Again, Dianna's working it all morning long, and we will keep you posted on what we hear coming out of there. One way or another, they have moved the game, which shows you that there is at least some concern. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.